Across the South Atlantic, a routine naval patrol becomes a study in perception and evidence. A bright beacon appears on the distant horizon, then fractures into several lights. Officers document, corroborate, and question what they see, knowing that memory and record-keeping may be the event's lasting truth. On the eve of Trindade's heightened role, Brazil's Navy expanded long-range patrols and base readiness. Remote outposts demanded disciplined observation, clear reporting, and trust in instruments. The stage was set. Geography, policy, and personnel formed a backdrop where an extraordinary sighting could emerge from ordinary duty. During the watch, observers noted faint glints near the horizon and intermittent radio interference. The calm sea reflected a tense sky, and small discrepancies in instruments accumulated into a sense that something beyond routine observations was unfolding, quietly demanding closer scrutiny from the crew. The decisive moment arrived as a bright flash brightened the sky, then split into multiple luminous bodies. They moved with deliberate, irregular patterns. Binoculars refocus, chairs creak, and the navigator notes course and speed while the sea holds its breath around a quiet island horizon. The captain convenes a quick strain of reports, orders corroboration with nearby vessels, and directs the watch to log every moment. Radio channels hum with inquiries, while civilians on shore lose sight of the spectacle as it remains stubbornly aloof, refusing easy explanations. Medium-term consequences and how on January 16, 1958, Brazilian naval officers and sailors observed a flashing light divide into multiple objects over Trindade Island. Official logs recorded the objects' movements before they vanished over the horizon. This turning point triggered a formal review of how unexplained phenomena were documented and analyzed across the fleet. The encounter therefore shifted from isolated observation to institutional inquiry. The official records unfold like a careful ledger. Timestamps, headings, and descriptive notes detail a bright flash, subsequent division, and coordinated yet unpredictable maneuvers. The documents preserve sequence and scale, offering the strongest available trail for later analysis of the encounter. 2 additional ships in the vicinity corroborated the sighting, reporting similar light behavior and trajectory notes. The corroboration shifted the narrative from a solitary impression to a multi-boat account, strengthening the case for genuine anomaly and inviting cross-checking against instrument data. Radar operators logged returns that did not align with known aircraft, while visual observers described consistent angular motion. The dual evidence set framed the encounter as an anomaly that resists easy explanation, demanding careful separation of science from speculation in the moment. Leaders weighed weather, optical illusions, and potential unknown devices. Official statements circumscribed claims, emphasizing documented observations while avoiding premature conclusions. The episode thus highlighted disciplined restraint in the face of uncertainty, preserving credibility for future inquiries. Trindade Island's isolation amplified the visual impact of distant lights against a vast Atlantic horizon. The surrounding sea offered few reference points, so observers depended on instruments and trained perception, making a clear boundary between mundane and extraordinary more difficult to draw. Scholars later explored atmospheric optics, refraction, cloud iridescence, and scintillation under temperature inversions. While these could account for some flicker and color shifts, the sustained, maneuvering cluster described in logs resisted a single routine explanation. Meteor showers or nocturnal avian flights were proposed as mundane explanations, yet the observed grouping, persistence, and coordinated motion did not fit typical meteor bursts or bird flocks. Observers treated such alternatives with caution, noting discrepancies in timing and behavior. Newspapers covered the sighting with sober curiosity and sensational headlines alike. The Navy issued measured statements to anchor the report in fact, while editors fed public imagination about the Atlantic frontier, sovereignty, and the mysteries of the sea. The Navy archived logs, radio transcripts, and sketches with meticulous care. This documentary footprint would later become a source for researchers and ufologists, who examined the sequence and tested theories against the available evidence. Following the initial sighting, additional ship reports appeared, though not all could be independently verified. The evolving timeline created a multi-point record, offering a foundation for later cross-disciplinary study rather than a single definitive event. In 1958, radar offered growing but imperfect capability at sea. The Trindade sighting tested these boundaries, illustrating how sensor data and human perception must be integrated carefully when observations diverge from known phenomena. Observers acknowledged distance, scale, and fatigue as factors that could distort interpretation. Yet the discipline of documentation, cross-checks, timestamps, and corroboration provided a robust chain of evidence, even amid uncertainty about the phenomenon's origin. The Trindade incident sits among a broader post-war interest in unidentified phenomena. While not definitive, it contributed to a cautious, evidence-based approach to such reports within naval and scientific communities. Atmospheric scientists reviewed the case, comparing it to known optical events and atmospheric layering. While no single explanation prevailed, the analysis framed the sighting as an instructive test of how science contends with uncertainty at sea. In the late 1950s, several Atlantic sightings shared themes of bright lights, unusual motion, and maritime observation conditions. The Trindade case joined these reports as a well-documented maritime encounter, contributing a rigorous, archival example to the broader phenomenon. The incident reinforced a culture of precise reporting, cross-ship corroboration, and methodical sensor analysis. It helped instill a habit of documenting unexplained sightings with care, an enduring contribution to naval historiography and research methodology. Beyond science, the event fed Brazil's narrative of maritime sovereignty, a distant outpost, disciplined crews, and measurable data defending national interests across a vast Atlantic expanse. Over the decades, the Trindade sighting has lived in ufology literature and Brazilian cultural memory as a credible maritime mystery, cited for its documented sequence and the restraint of official interpretation. Although many files remain within official archives, portions have surfaced in libraries and digital repositories. Researchers now revisit the case with fresh methods, subject to the limits of what was recorded in 1958. Some commentators posited connections to distant tests or novel technologies, yet no conclusive evidence linked the Trindade event to any known program. The case remains a catalyst for layered interpretation rather than a definitive explanation. Current assessments lean toward a combination of perceptual effects and instrumentation limits, with no irrefutable proof of extraterrestrial origin. The value of the Trindade case endures in how it tests the boundaries between observation and explanation. The documents favor careful language, luminous bodies and unknown objects, to balance accuracy and restraint. This careful lexicon preserved the integrity of evidence while inviting ongoing inquiry. The Trindade case has influenced Brazilian culture and science journalism, inspiring curiosity about the Atlantic frontier and the limits of human perception at sea, long after the ships have sailed away. From the encounter, observers learned the value of time-stamped records, corroboration across witnesses, and disciplined analysis. The case endures because it demonstrates how a puzzling moment can become durable history through careful documentation. The Trindade Island sighting remains a benchmark in maritime unexplained phenomena, illustrating how memory, evidence, and interpretation travel together across generations, keeping the ocean's mysteries alive while science seeks clearer explanations. Across the Atlantic horizon, one flashing light became a test of how science, military discipline, and public curiosity intersect when faced with the unknown. The trail of logs endures, inviting new questions and careful study.